I might as well get going. I'd like to start by welcoming you all to this webinar, an overview of Special Olympics golf. I'd like to say, first of all, thank you very much, everyone who's joined this evening. Thank you very much for your time and for your interest in Special Olympics. This is actually the first webinar of two leading into a golf day, a unified golf day, which we'll speak about a little bit later in the webinar. But yeah, and I just wanted to, I'm just going to make sure we've got some participants coming in. So I just wanted to, thank you very much and welcome you, and hope that you get a bit out of this webinar this evening as well. So might as well get straight into it. So first of all, I wanted to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of all the lands in which we gather this evening, and pay our respects to elders, both past, present and emerging. Now, my name's Yvonne Snell. I'm the National Sports Partnerships Manager here at Special Olympics Australia. I'm joined tonight by a few wonderful panel members who know a lot more about golf than I do. We're going to hear from Jeremy Smith, who's a golf coach at Special Olympics. We're going to hear from Brendan Borger, one of our athletes, Lee Harrington, who is a WPGA coach, professional coach at the golf school, and one of my colleagues, Kim Lawley, who is based in Queensland, as our Community Development Officer. Now, this webinar is, we've got a bit to cover, so hopefully you'll all walk away with a good understanding of Special Olympics, who we are, what we do, and most importantly, how you as golf coaches, club members, whatever your background, can get involved in Special Olympics. So we'll be covering what Special Olympics is. We'll be talking about golf in Special Olympics, how that works. We'll be talking about affiliation, which is how we can link with mainstream golf clubs and coaches. We'll be hearing from an athlete, which is really important that, you know, we want to put our athletes front and center. So Lee has had a chat to one of our athletes, Brendan, and we're going to play a video for you guys to have a bit of a listen to what golf means to Brendan and what he's got out of it. We'll talk about unified and what that is and how that applies to golf. And then we'll talk about how you can affiliate with Special Olympics and finish up with some information about the upcoming golf day in June as well. Now, throughout the webinar, you'll see that there is a Q&A. So if you've got any questions at all, please feel free to type those into the chat or into the Q&A. We will endeavour to answer some questions towards the end of the webinar. But as I said, we do have a lot to cover, so we may end up just taking questions on notice and responding to you following the webinar. But yeah, please, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in and we'll try to address them. So what is Special Olympics? Special Olympics is a national sporting organisation for people with intellectual disability and or autism spectrum disorder. Not to be confused with the Paralympics, which is a very common misconception. The Paralympics is an organisation for people primarily with physical disabilities, and also really focuses on the elite end of, I guess, sporting participation. Whereas Special Olympics, we are much more about providing grassroots, ongoing participation opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities and autism. But we do have a competition pathway as well. So our athletes have the opportunity to participate in local, state, national, and also world games every 4 years, similar to the Olympic cycle. A little fun fact, the movement was actually started by the Kennedy family back in the 60s. So JFK's older sister had an intellectual disability, and one of his other sisters actually started the whole Special Olympics movement, which has grown to over 5 million athletes across 170 countries worldwide. And there's some numbers there on screen which give you a bit of an indication of where we're at Special Olympics in Australia. So to give you a bit more of an understanding of how golf works in Special Olympics, I'm going to hand over to Jeremy Smith, who is a Special Olympics golf coach based on the Gold Coast. He's been with Special Olympics for about 10 years and he's coached Special Olympics Queensland teams, and not only golf actually, he's coached some basketball and some winter sports as well. So I'm going to hand over to you, Jeremy, and you can chat through what Special Olympics golf looks like.
Thanks, Yvonne. All right, so what's Special Olympics Golf? We provide weekly coaching, participation and training for athletes, some form of intellectual impairment, basically. So every week, to be able to compete in competitions, we must be able to train. So we hold competitions also for all abilities and all levels, as long as you have that intellectual impairment. And there's also a pathway, as Yvonne mentioned, from local, state and national and international competition. So clubs, as we call them, which is our regional areas, we develop programs involving training and competitions facilitated by volunteer coaches, coordinators and pro coaches as well. So how our programs and competitions work. Well, I'll start with, there's 5 levels in Special Olympics golf. So I'll go through the levels and what they kind of mean. So level 1, we have a skills level. So it's for golfers more starting out in Special Olympics golf, at a lower level. So it's individual skills. They're athletes that can score in 6 types of golf shots. So there's a short putt, there's a long putt, a chip shot, a pitch shot, a bunker shot, an iron shot and a wood shot. So all athletes get to practice their skills in those types of shots, and then we can have competitions where they all get points on each of those, and that's how the competitions arrange. Level 2, and this is more a common one that we use and have done for a long time in Queensland, is the 9-hole alternate shot. It's a unified, it's a foursomes competition, and it's unified, so it's played with an able-bodied golfer. So ideally we like to have golfers that are of a similar ability, but that's always a bit of a challenge for us. But that's what the level 2 competition is. Level 3 that we're hoping to do some, which we haven't done a lot of over time, is the 18-hole alternate shot, which is in another unified sport and a foursome. So that's a similar thing. Internationally, they like to have a golfer of similar ability, but that's something that we like to work on. And hopefully we can get more people involved so that can happen. Level 4 is your 9-hole individual stroke play. So people that get into that competition have to have scores of around 70 less. And then level 5 is the more advanced level, which is 18-hole stroke play. Now, if people don't have GA handicaps, you're going around in 120 strokes or less. So we have training week in, week out. A lot of different clubs and areas do things a little bit differently. But basically we've got accredited coaches or pro coaches that can provide weekly training, whether that be at the golf club or a local driving range. And that's what we're currently doing. Here on the Gold Coast, I've been using pro golfers for a long period of time because I'm really just a social golfer. So I've been able to be accredited enough to learn how to coach, but we find getting professional help's always the best that you can get. Oh, I just went off for a second. Okay. So I'll move into divisioning. So we've just explained those levels. So within those levels, we still have divisions. So when you're competing in Special Olympics, golf or any sport, there's nothing elite. So you can compete at a local level, state, national or international level. You don't have to be at the the best of your ability, but you can still go over and compete against people at your level. Now, within each level at competitions, there can be as many divisions as possible. So if we've got 20 people competing in one level, depending on their scores, that's how we can division. Typically, in 18-hole golf, the divisioning is a little bit more simple because of the GA handicap system. But for all other levels, it's basically, we have a record of what their scores are over time, and that's how we can division them accordingly for competitions. Rules are pretty well similar to golf. I mean, there's really only one main rule, which is a lot to do with speed of play, and that's after 10 shots, you pick the ball up. And when you're scoring your card, if you've had 10 shots before it goes in the hole, you just mark 10x or 10 plus. And that's really the main rule that's there. There's other things. Each competition that's held, there can be, rules based on what everyone decides is what's going to happen for that competition. But as a general rule, that's really the only difference. Coaching and volunteering roles. Well, there's many at all levels. So we do have travelling teams, and to become a coach, you need to apply for that role. At a local level, you'll have generally a local coordinator that runs things for that club in that area. And you may have a accredited coach. And you may have 3 different pros within the area that are coaching at different courses, depending on how big your club actually is. But yeah, there's a pathway all the way through to the World Games. So, and at a national competition, you'd need to apply for a role, and you'd have to arrange training and coaching and practicing as often as you can before you get to that competition, and that may go for a 6-month period, and a World Games can go for a 12-month period, and they're all volunteering roles. Obviously, as in all sport, there's a lot of volunteering roles at local level and local competition, and it's no different in Special Olympics. We require many different people for caddying and scoring and assistance so that we can speed up play and have a good competition. The use of courses and training facilities, and that all varies depending on where you are. There's obviously a lot of challenges, as everyone would know, in being able to have access to courses. So we do have a lot of courses that we've used over time that we continue to use, but it is definitely a challenge and something that we need to continue to have people, more pros and more clubs on side, so we can have greater access to facilities. But yeah, as I said earlier, we can use driving ranges when golf courses aren't available. There's plenty of those sorts of facilities. But yeah, the more people and the more clubs that we have and professionals on board, the better that the program can be moving forward.
Excellent. Thanks very much for that that insight, Jeremy. I know that you've got a lot of experience on the ground. And just for everyone on the webinar as well, we're going to share Jeremy's contact details at the end of the webinar. So as we will for all the panelists and the presenters. So please feel free to reach out if you do have any questions after the webinar as well. So I'm going to talk about how you can get involved with Special Olympics. So basically there's 2 types of programs. So we have at Special Olympics, we have a network of Special Olympics clubs, which are dotted around all over Australia, and they cover a geographical area, and they're volunteer run clubs. Each club runs multiple sports. So depending on the coaches and the volunteers at that club, they might run Basically, they run weekly training or fortnightly training in the sports that they're delivering. So they might do swimming training on a Friday afternoon and athletics on a Saturday morning, and maybe they might do golf on a Sunday afternoon. Just whatever venues. It sort of depends on the venues available, the coaches available, and obviously the timetable and sports that work for those clubs. So our Special Olympics clubs may or may not run a golf program. If our Special Olympics clubs want to run a golf program, they're likely to need a coach to run it. So they might be reaching out to PGA All Abilities coaches in their area who they can sort of work with to set up a Special Olympics program that's directly connected to that club. Outside of our club network, and we don't have a full geographical coverage of Australia, so we want to make sure that if there is a golf club somewhere in Australia that's in an area that's not covered by a Special Olympics club, and there are some players out there with intellectual disabilities who would like to play golf and would like to get involved with Special Olympics, we want to make sure that we can connect with them. And the way we want to do that is through our affiliate program. So I'll talk about this in a bit more detail at the end of the webinar. But essentially, we welcome any club that wants to start a program under the Special Olympics banner. We welcome them to affiliate with us. What we will do is connect those clubs to our state committees, to our state golf coordinators, and to our volunteers to support you as a coach or your club to set up a program that caters for people with intellectual disabilities and autism. And that will link directly to the Special Olympics competition pathway should your athletes want to head down that direction. The other thing that you get from the affiliate program is basically that it formalises a connection between your club and us as an organisation, and we have a whole bunch of online courses, learning materials, and we can just provide that level of support to help you establish and deliver an inclusive program at your club. So as I said, I'll talk a bit more about affiliation at the end of the webinar, but that's one way that we'd really like to connect with more golf coaches and clubs across Australia, as many as possible, basically, following this webinar. And again, I invite you to get in touch. My contact details will be at the end of the webinar as well. So now I'm going to hand over to Lee. And as I said before, we're really keen to make sure our athletes are seen and heard, and they're the whole reason we're here. We want them to be front and centre, and we wanted you guys to have a bit of an understanding of what Special Olympics means to our athletes. So I'll let Lee introduce this particular athlete that we'll hear from, but just a bit about Lee first. So she's been a PGA member for 22 years, I believe, Lee. She's been an All Abilities coach for 6 years. And has been actively involved in coaching people with disabilities, both inside and outside of Special Olympics programs. So I'll hand over to you, Lee.
Awesome, thank you, Yvonne. I think this segment's really important. As a coach, I think it's important to understand what role we can provide to the athlete. And as golf coaches, it's not all about the skills of golf, and a lot of times that's what our focus is. But with athletes from Special Olympics and disabilities in general, it's about what you can provide in more of a holistic manner for the athlete. And Brendan's a great example we're obviously using today. So, in working with Brendan, his social skills, his speech. I actually spoke to his pathologist the other day, and he was saying how well he's doing. His confidence, his ability to relate to others, and to make decisions. I mean, one of the things you'll see in the interview is, that there is a bit of prompting from me in the interview to Brendan, and that transfers to his golf as well. When I first started working with Brendan, he couldn't, his club selection, he didn't really want to make a decision on his own. Now we just let him go out and, good or bad, as you know, in golf, make a decision, and he's much more confident in that area. So I think all the value that golf provides is fantastic. And look, let's hear from Brendan first, and then we can, I think that's the most important thing.
Hello, my name is Lee Harrington, and I'm here today with Brendan Borger from Special Olympics. How are you, Brendan?
Good, you feeling good? Yeah,
Feeling
yeah,
good?
yeah.
We've just come off the golf course today, haven't we?
Did,
Played
yeah,
9
played
holes.
9 holes today, so...
You play
yeah,
well?
I played well today, yeah. Would have had about 15 points today, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Brendan has been involved with Special Olympics for how long, Brendan? What age did you start with Special Olympics, do you remember?
Probably about over 30 years. Around about 30 years.
And you've
30
represented
years.
in numerous sports.
Yeah, I remember swimming, golf, bocce and skiing.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice cross-section
Yeah,
of sports.
yeah, sports, yeah.
And what do you think has been the most valuable part of being involved, off that? 30 years is a long time.
Yeah, I know.
What's the value of being involved with Special Olympics?
Well, making friends and going to the World Games and things, and national games and all that.
Yeah.
Situations with state titles as well, yeah.
Yeah, and you perform well at these events?
I have.
What's been some of your proudest moments, do you think? What's your biggest achievements in, say, swimming? What did you achieve in swimming?
Winning the gold medal over in Ireland in swimming.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That was good, yeah.
What in swimming? So what part of swimming? Or what was your stroke?
Breaststrokes. Breaststroke was my favourite stroke in swimming, so yeah, I done well in that. Had about 2 PBs in that, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
so that's obviously exciting.
Yeah,
good memories, isn't it?
It's good memories, yeah.
And golf as well?
And golf with probably just playing over in Adelaide was my best score, 85 off the stick, yeah.
And Adelaide was that tournament?
Was national titles, yeah.
Okay, we haven't been able to do that for a couple of years, unfortunately, but looking forward to maybe next year.
Yeah, thank you for Lee just getting me the lessons and that, yeah.
So each week you come down here as well?
I come down here every Monday, yeah.
Yep.
And catch the train down, and that's it, yeah.
So I caddy for you at Special Olympics golf days.
Yeah,
You've earned the respect of a lot of your peers and your fellow athletes.
Yeah.
Do you feel that or understand your value to Special Olympics now?
I do, yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Feel very, very proud.
Very proud?
Yeah.
And all your mates?
All my mates, my mates support me in that too, so, and family and friends too, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And what's your next goal? Do you have another goal? Like Special Olympics provide a lot of opportunities for you. What do you think? Do you have another goal that you're trying to achieve, or?
No, not really, no.
Not really? What about beat your dad?
Yeah, I think Dad's just been pretty good. What I'm being proud of too, and Mum as well, yeah. So
they've been a great support, haven't they?
They've been a good support of me, of my life, yeah.
So athletes that aren't involved with Special Olympics, obviously there's a lot of sports that cover, but we're obviously drilling down a little bit on golf.
Yeah.
What is the benefit of someone coming in? You're now an established golfer, but what's the benefit for someone new to golf or wanting to learn? What do you think the benefit of coming in and joining Special Olympics and being part of a worldwide movement?
Just developing that skills, I guess. Yeah, like me. Yeah.
And it's fun and nice and friendly.
And fun and nice and friendly. Yeah.
I want to expand a little bit in this second conversation on your golf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how did you start in the game of golf?
Just by with the skills competition and just going to 9 holes as well to start off with, as well as the second one, then gradually get up to 18 as well with skills and that,
Okay.
Yeah, the coaching and that,
And and now, so you've progressed through the pathway provided by Special Olympics?
Yeah.
And at the moment, your level of golf, where are you at? You're competing as an 18-hole player?
I am, yeah.
But you started with a skills program?
Skills program,
Into 9 holes?
Into 9 holes,
and now 18 there. And you're a member of a golf club?
I am a member of Wynnum Golf Club, yeah.
And how often do you play in the competition at Wynnum?
Every Tuesday, yeah.
Every Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So you play with other members as well?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
So I made friends with other members as
it's
well.
It's great to have golf clubs that... allow you to play as well.
Yeah,
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're meeting new people on a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday, yeah.
That's great.
Every Tuesday I meet new people, yeah.
And what do you love about golf? What do you really love about golf?
Just like the sport about, it's just having fun with it and that, yeah.
And competing?
I like competing with, because I went to Macau and won the event over there to overseas and that,
So that was another Special Olympics event?
That was another Special Olympics event overseas.
And what did you achieve there? More achievements?
More achievement at the Macau Masters it was,
Right. What year was that?
That was 2 years ago. It was 2 years, about 2016 and 2017,
Okay, and you competed?
Competed for one of the world, representing Australia over there.
And did you do well?
I done well, yeah.
Did you?
Probably about second or came second or something,
You got to do a bit of travel, mate.
I got to do a bit of travel overseas then too.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. And so on a weekly basis with your golf, it's a big part of your life now, isn't it? You come down and see us every Monday.
Every Monday.
What do you think the value of seeing a golf coach? What do you think I help you with? What have I helped you with in your golf game?
Just some of the coaching with the skills and that, and help me with my long games and short games and that, and the putting as well,
That covers it,
It covers everything as well as getting out of bunkers too,
we love bunkers, don't we?
I know,
And and we play, right?
And we
go
up the course and play with other guys as well too.
It's just no good when you out-drive me, is it?
I know, and getting to know the other guys as well too.
So, we've got a good group here now,
we've got a good group now, friendship now,
okay, and I think that's it, mate.
I think that's it. We just add a bit more. That's it. Cut now. Yeah.
Great job.
Excellent. So, look, the value of seeing that, I think, speaks for itself. And obviously, Brendan started at Skills Challenge and gone right through the pathway of Special Olympics. And, he's gone from one end to another. I think he started golf skills in about 2003 or 4 when he decided that he'd had a little bit enough of swimming. Swimming was quite intense for him. He achieved quite a high level, and he decided to get into golf. And he did the skills at Chindra, I think it was, at Chindra driving range, and he met another guy there called Craig, and their friendship kind of was the reason that they kept going back to keep playing golf. And so that's, it's like us when we play golf. We want to play with our mates and have a bit of fun, and Brendan's no different. So he found the value of becoming good mates with Craig, and they kept their golf journey going and obviously kept progressing to a high level. So I think, it's good to see the benefit that golf does provide, as it does in all our lives, really. That's why we love golf, but the benefit of golf to one of the athletes.
Great, thank you very much for that, Lee. I'm going to flick across before that starts again. I'm going to hand over now to Kim Lawley, who is the Community Development Officer for Special Olympics Australia based in Queensland. And Kim's going to talk about the concept of unified sport, which is relatively new here at Special Olympics Australia. But Kim knows a lot more about it than I do, so I'm going to hand over to you now, Kim.
Awesome, thanks, Bonnie. Not sure if I can beat that interview though, Lee, and well done, Brendan. I know he'll be watching it with his dad tonight. So, unified sports. As we know, team sports bring people together, and Special Olympics unified sport teams do that too, and so much more. At present, there's about 1.5 million people worldwide taking part in unified sports run by Special Olympics. And we're breaking down stereotypes about people with intellectual disabilities in a really fun way. ESPN has served as the global presenting sponsor of Special Olympics Unified Sport since 2013, and they're supporting the growth and expansion of this program that empowers individuals with and without intellectual disabilities to engage through the power of sports. You went too quick, Bonnie, for me. Special Olympics is dedicated to promoting social inclusion through shared sports, training and competition experiences. Unified Sports joins people with and without intellectual disabilities on the same teams. It was inspired by a simple principle: training together and playing together is a quick path to friendship and understanding. In Unified Sports, teams are made up of people of similar age and ability. That makes practices more fun and games more challenging and exciting for all. Having sport in common is just one more way that the preconceptions and false ideas are swept away. Research has demonstrated that unified sports is extremely valuable in helping achieve social inclusion and getting Special Olympics athletes better connected to their communities. Athletes also improve their golf skill acquisitions faster, and they also gain a better understanding of the tactics of the sport, making the overall experience better. Those pictures that you can see on the screen at the moment are from Special Olympics Australia's first ever unified sports, and that's basketball competition currently being run out of Gold Coast Basketball Association and Eltham Basketball Association in Victoria. Both those programs started this year, and it's a first for unified sports here in Australia. How the basketball works is, as you can see in the pictures, they have 3 intellectually disabled athletes on the court with 2 able-bodied or partners, as we like to call them, throughout the competitions. And this is where we see the clubs coming involved in the fact that these clubs are running these divisions for us. So as Vonnie said, we support you and give you the resources and the tools and the training, but then the clubs step up and can manage these competitions themselves. Now I'll just move on to those next screens. And these are the overview of the 7 criteria for success. But what I'll do is I'll just touch on those first couple that I feel relevant, especially for tonight. So the principle of meaningful involvement. All participants should have a reasonable chance to succeed and contribute during competition without undue risk of injury according to the rules and the conditions of play. Meaningful involvement is the most critical determinant of the program's success. In team sports, this means that unified sports teams should be organised so that high ability athletes or partners should not have to accommodate others on the team by playing down to their level. Rules modifications are needed and used in unified sports player development divisions to accommodate the lower ability teammates, learning the skills and the game to ensure meaningful involvement of all team players. The other one is, the second one, the appropriate sports selection. So how do we know that the sport is right for unified sports? We have to look at athlete and partner interest. So which sports are most motivating for athletes? Motivation is extremely important for our athletes. Facilities and equipments. Do we have the access to quality sites and equipment? If the facilities are not available, the consideration ends here. Qualified coaches. Do we have individuals, the sport, and that they're committed to Special Olympics and have been trained in unified sports? Do we have the ability of athletes and partners? So what is that ability level of potential athletes? Can we recruit partners who match that athlete in ability, especially in the necessary skills of the sport? And opportunities for competition. So will the team have regular opportunities to compete? I'll move on now just to the unified sports models. Thanks, Von. And as you can see, there are 3 models that exist within unified sports. So there's competitive sports, unified sports player development, and unified sports recreation. All 3 models provide different types of experiences in team sports such as basketball, football, and volleyball, and also in other sports such as bocce, golf, and tennis. All 3 models, as seen in the graphic, have social inclusion as the core outcome. However, the structure and the function of these models vary. At present, here in Australia, we are focusing on the competitive unified sports model to get it off the ground. And our next screen, probably just to give you a bit more in-depth rules around those unified sport golf levels, as Jeremy mentioned. So level 2, unified sports alternate shot, depending on where you are in Australia. Play competition rules for 9-hole. So the purpose of this level is for Special Olympics athlete golfers with an entry level of understanding of golf, and it's an opportunity to transition from that individual skills, like we heard where Brendan started, to individual play and to progress under the guidance of a unified partner. We use Lee in this scenario, whose ability and knowledge of golf is more advanced than that of the Special Olympics athlete. As a result, this scenario technically does not function under the traditional unified sports models where teammates are expected to be of similar ability, but the unified partner serves as a coach and a mentor so that Special Olympics athlete becomes self-sufficient on the golf course. For more experienced Special Olympics golf athletes, this level is also designed for athletes and unified partners that have comparable ability levels and knowledge of the sport. This scenario would be more closely comparable to the traditional unified sports model, whereby the teammates would be of similar ability. And even if the athlete has the skill set to play individually in level 4, he or she may actually choose to continue playing at this level 2. Level 3 is unified sports, the alternate shot 18 hole. And the purpose of this level is for the Special Olympics athlete golfer that has a basic to moderate level understanding of golf. This level is designed to give the Special Olympics athlete an opportunity to transition from level 2 to 3 and to progress under the guidance of a unified partner whose ability and knowledge of golf is more advanced than that of the Special Olympics athlete. As a result, again, this level does not function in the traditional unified sports model where teammates are expected to be of the similar ability. But again, for more experienced Special Olympics athlete golfers, this level is also designed for athletes and the unified partners that have the comparable ability levels and knowledge of the sport. This scenario would be more closely resemble the traditional unified sports, whereby the teammates would be of similar ability. Even if the athlete again has the skill set to play individually in level 4 or 5, he and she may choose to continue playing at level 3. This level of play is designed for an alternative type of competition for the player capable of playing at level 4. And now, just in closing, an example of a successful golf program at the moment is Special Olympics Iowa. They currently hold 8 unified golf events a year. They actually do that by offering several skill divisions to gain their competitions. So they have a 9-hole pro, they have a 6-hole intermediate, and they have a 3-hole beginner. Also, in saying that, Minnesota is currently running a 3-hole unified team play competition and a 9-hole unified team play competition. These will be the starting points for Unified Sport Australia, and we are hoping to hold our first ever Unified Sport golf event here in Australia by the end of the year. Will you be a part of it? Participation in unified sports leads to new friendships, improved self-esteem, and positive changes in attitude, behaviour, and performance. This program creates lasting impact on all those participating, and it's a great addition to the formal and life education. Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you very much, Kim. And I can't understate the effort that Kim has gone to bring the unified concept to Australia. I mean, she shared some photos of the 2 basketball programs that are happening. A lot of work went into that, just to, I guess, introduce that concept to the clubs that are running it, and then working with those clubs to get it off the ground. And it's really exciting to, potentially introduce that into the golf arena as well, because it's a really good fit, and just a great opportunity for more people to play golf and more people to get to know each other and to understand intellectual disability and just I guess be accepting of everyone and everyone's ability level, and also help them, help our athletes grow and develop, and really it's just about having fun. So thank you very much, Kim. I appreciate all your efforts there. So as I touched on earlier, we are really hoping to grow the sport of golf in Special Olympics nationally across Australia. We've got a handful of golf programs, mainly in Queensland and New South Wales at the moment, and I know there's a lot of interest in other states as well. So we're really keen to get some more programs up and running and invite some more athletes in. Whether that be existing Special Olympics members that are starting to play golf for the first time, or people from outside of Special Olympics that can, maybe already are playing golf, and through affiliation at their local club, they can then access the Special Olympics pathway, which they may not know about, may not be an opportunity, may not know it's an opportunity for them. So I touched on what it is, which is essentially golf clubs filling out an online registration form to affiliate with us. And then, like I said earlier, it just formalises that connection between your club and Special Olympics, so that any athletes with intellectual disability or autism that are playing at your club can come and join in Special Olympics competitions at a local and state level. They won't need a Special Olympics membership until they want to compete at national level. So basically the process to become an affiliate, if we've hopefully sparked your interest in getting involved with Special Olympics, is essentially to get in touch with us. There is a website, there is a web page on our website that outlines all the information about our affiliate program, and that link is at the bottom there. But really, if you just Google Special Olympics, you can jump on the website and there's a tab under participate, and you can have a look at affiliation there. But really the first protocol is to connect with us. Send us an email. My email address will be shared at the end of this webinar. and we'll get in touch with you. We do have staff members similar to Kim, our Community Development Officer, in all states other than NT at the moment. So we've got staff members who you can connect with, and they will help you move through the process to affiliate. Once you do fill out that online form, there's no cost involved, and it's a really short online form. Basically, we'll come back to you with a handbook which outlines exactly what affiliation is, what the requirements are from your end, and then we'll connect you with our state committee in your state and with your local club if there's a club nearby that you can connect with. And that connection will essentially be the way that your athletes are invited into the Special Olympics competition pathway. You can have access to our online learning platform. So we often have, and hopefully a lot of people on the webinar tonight have done the PGA All Abilities training. If you want to do some extra training and get to know a bit more about intellectual disability and autism specifically, we have an online learning platform called SOA Learn, where you can find some online courses. There's some webinars there about autism. There's also some resources and game cards if you want to use those as well. And you can just have a bit of a look around, and we're constantly evolving and developing new materials to sit on SOA Learn as well. And the plan is that this webinar will also sit there as well. And then once you have affiliated with us, you've got the connection with the state committee and or the local club in your area. You can start delivering programs, and that's where that connection with us will be there to support you to start those programs, to point you in the direction of the right resources, the right people who know golf, who know the Special Olympics golf rules, and they can support you to set up programs that will work for your club, your athletes, and then work with you to hopefully develop more competition opportunities, as well as inviting athletes into existing competitions. And as I mentioned before, the pathway that athletes can access through Special Olympics is to compete at local competitions. And then we have state games every year as well, national games every 4 years, and then world games every 4 years as well. So as I said, if you have any more questions about affiliation, please feel free to get in touch. We also have 2 case studies, and there's an image of one there of an organisation in Queensland that started up a golf program and have connected to Special Olympics. So there's 2 case studies which I'll share with you. One is from a Special Olympics club perspective and how one of our clubs started their own golf program. And one is an external organisation, Special Olympics, which started up a golf program and connected with us. So I can share those with you following this webinar. So what I might do is give Lee, I'll hand back to Lee, because she's been championing this Unified Golf Day, which has been organised for Tuesday, June 15th, I believe, yes. And Lee will talk through what that involves, how you can get involved if you're interested, and then I might chat about the next webinar after that, Lee. So over to you.
Yep, thank you. The Golf Day was set up really as an extension of, I suppose what we're doing here tonight is an education on what is Special Olympics, both for golf pros, also for the athletes, and also for club members and golf clubs themselves. So what we want to do on this golf day is try and get everyone on the same page and have a fun golf day, but invite in your team a mix of that same mix, a golf pro, some athletes that you might have in this space, in the SO space, whether they've been exposed to SO golf before or not, doesn't matter. We want them to come along and have a bit of fun with us. So play with a golf pro and also a club member. If someone that is a champion in this space at your club, or you feel they might be of value in coming along to a day like this to understand SO better, that's the goal of the day. So we've taken up the whole course for the afternoon at Palmettos. If you're on this and you'd love to be part of it, and even if it's just you as a golf pro, or if you've got some athletes that you're not sure whether they are able to come along, feel free to contact any of us. We'd love to see you come along and experience what a SO is, get your athletes to come along and see if they like golf. It's going to just be a fun Embros afternoon. So there's no pressure. We're in carts, carers can come along in carts. And the afternoon is about fun, but also on the side, we want to increase engagement in this space and provide education in this space from running a day like this. So, and then in the afternoon, we've got to come and try. So if you feel you've got an athlete that's not ready to maybe get on a golf course, we're doing it on the driving range just to come and try. So you might want to bring your athlete along to say, look, this is golf. Come and have a go and have a bit of fun. So that's pretty much essentially. So if you're interested, I know a lot of you would have received an email from me already, but we'd love to hear from you and increase, participation on the afternoon. We want as many there as possible. It's going to be some good media. ESPN obviously have supported it, so it's all free. There's no charge to anyone. The athletes get fed, which they all love, and then we get to play some golf. So, yep, love to see you all there.
Great, thanks, Lee. That leads me to the questions, and I did mention earlier in the webinar that there is the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. It will be, I believe it will be, it's at the top of mine. But if you do have any questions for any of us, whether it's myself, Kim, Lee or Jeremy, please feel free to type them in the chat. We do have a bit of time to address some questions, and I can see that one's come in, and this is quite a good segue actually to the next thing I was going to speak about. So the question is, can Special Olympics help me connect with participants for my golf and get into golf programs? I was planning on mentioning as well that this, as I said, this is the first webinar out of 2. Next week, Jaden and Christian from Golf Australia will be delivering a webinar as well, which is actually focusing on my golf and get into golf all abilities. And the key audience for that webinar will be the Special Olympics community. So it will be Special Olympics coaches, volunteers, athletes, family members. But having said that, it's open to anyone who wants to come along. The details for that webinar are on the same flyer that you would have found the details for this one. So you can just register for that one if you're interested. So the answer is yes, we would like to help connect participants for your My Golf and Get Into Golf programs. Particularly the All Abilities programs. We want to, so the webinar next week and the promotion on the back of that will be about us encouraging all of our athletes, our Special Olympics community, to, if they want to have a go at golf, to find either a My Golf or Get Into Golf centre that they can connect with to learn how to play golf. The plan is to then connect with those clubs that are running those Get Into Golf or My Golf All Abilities programs, that hopefully, there's a chance for those clubs to affiliate with us, so that there's that ongoing connection, that ongoing participation opportunity at your club for athletes with intellectual disabilities, so that they can continue to grow and evolve as golfers. And as I said, if they choose, progress through the competition pathway. So yes, the plan is that Golf Australia and Special Olympics Australia will work together to promote My Golf and Get Into Golf programs out there to the community. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to type them in. Oh, another one.
Yvonne, it's Jeremy here.
Yes, Jeremy.
This is something that I like to go over that I missed before, if that's all right, while people might be thinking of any questions, and that's to do with competitions. The expectation would be that every club who has a golf program would host a competition in any one calendar year. And so, we in Queensland, we have about 5 active clubs. So they would be holding a competition each year. And most of it seems to be in the southeast area. It'd be ideal if all clubs could have, active programs, which is something that we'd be hoping to achieve. But it was just something that I missed. We generally travel in and around the southeast region from the Sunshine Coast down to the Gold Coast and all the areas between to compete against each other. But futuristically, it'd be great to have more clubs involved and on board, so that there can be more competition.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeremy. It's a great point. And yes, while our athletes do love to travel, I mean, that's the whole premise of competing in Special Olympics. So, you know, as you heard from Brendan, he absolutely loved his time traveling internationally with Special Olympics. But even, you know, domestically, our athletes they love our national games, but they love our state games as well. They are willing to travel for competitions, but we do really want to increase the number of golf programs that are delivered nationally, so that people do have those opportunities to, you know, to play and train and, you know, compete in competitions as close to home as possible, as well as having that opportunity to progress through the pathway. So the more clubs that we can get on board, the better. I just wanted to share our contact details. I'll leave them on the screen for a couple of minutes. Please, as I said, feel free to reach out following the webinar at any time. If you've got any questions, if, you know, like I said, we'd love to get more golf clubs and golf coaches on board. So yeah, if you're interested in getting involved, please contact Kim if you're based in Queensland, and you can contact myself if you're in another state, and I'll point you in the direction of our staff member based in that state. And we can send you some more information about affiliation. So I just wanted to, if there's no more questions, I'll wrap up. Again, I just wanted to say thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this evening. Always really appreciate you taking your time, particularly outside of work hours. And thank you for your interest in Special Olympics. You know, we're always really excited when there's, you know, more coaches, more clubs out there willing to be inclusive, willing to welcome, you know, people with intellectual disabilities and autism into their clubs and provide them opportunities to, you know, get amongst the community, meet new people, learn new skills. So just wanted to, thank you very much for your interest, and welcome you into the Special Olympics community, and invite any questions and any queries at any time. So if there's no other questions, I might wrap that up there. So, and thank you as well. It was remiss of me to not to mention our panelists. Thank you to Lee, thank you to Jeremy and Kim as well for your knowledge and your insights, and of course to Brendan. He's obviously not on live, but he gave you know, us a lot of time, and, you know, spent a lot of time with Lee doing that pre-recorded video just to give that unique insight from an athlete as well. So that's the reason why we're here. You know, we're here for the athletes. So it was wonderful to hear from him as well. So yes, thank you for everyone, and I'll wrap it up from here.